Okay, let's do an audio test. That's really quiet. Did you turn my knobs down?
I didn't touch it.
Okay, let's do. Okay. Oh yeah.
Do an audio test. That's really quiet.
All right. Let's do a show.
The following podcast contains adult language and themes, so don't say we didn't fucking warn you.
You're listening to Sarah Talk. It's political.
Senator Harris?
She reminds me so much of, like, if Maria from Sesame Street went into politics and got angry about shit.
Who's that other, the Wisconsin girl that nobody likes? What's her freaking something, Chur? Yobiture?
Oh my god, this is gold. Girl, she's going. She's going.
Critical.
They care about the life of the unborn child, but once it's born, you know, it should pull up its little bootstraps and go get its second job and fucking take care of itself, you know?
And positively LGBT positive.
Look, whenever there's someone coming after my community, they are either wearing a MAGA hat, carrying a Bible, or more often both.
Oh, and occasionally completely absurd.
Oh, they're shutting us down. They're deplatforming us. I do a pretty good Alex Jones voice. Return the frogs gag!
Okay, you're sleeping in a child's room tonight, because there's no way you're sleeping next to me. That is disgusting. I'm going to have nightmares.
And now, from Haines City, Florida, your host, Sarah Austin.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sarah Talk. This is episode 191, January 10th, 2020.
Holy moly.
I know. Can you believe it?
No. I can't believe it.
I can't either. We're coming up on episode 200, and we're
Quickly, and we have no idea.
not doing anything special. Not enough people listen. I
We could
can't get all 10 of you in one place at the same
We
time
could do a
to
200
do a
minute.
live show.
We could do a 200-minute episode.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, we regularly do
I know.
that.
Well, you said we wouldn't do anything special, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Sure.
Mm.
So, I'm gonna have to just play music during the show so that I don't hear the dog in the other room whining and crying and barking. Why did we get a dog again? Who wanted a dog? I didn't want a dog. Anyway, we're wearing red for Ed today.
Red for Ed.
We're going to talk about that on the show tonight. And I pulled a couple of news stories. Nothing real exciting. Again, like there's just the Iran stuff is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I saw an article this morning that Pelosi is going to send over the articles of impeachment finally next week. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm in that like overload moment of I've tried to keep up with so much for so long that now I'm just like bloop, tuned out a little bit.
Speaking of tuned out,
Okay.
I made a decision.
Okay.
If Donald Trump gets reelected, I'm deleting my Facebook account. Like, I'm dead serious.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm just done. At this point, there's nothing on Facebook that I will need to see
Who pissed you off?
ever again. I'm just done. Like, because I know that the Trumpers lurk in the shadows of my friends list, and I'm over it. Like, no. Because, you know, you can make that post like this if you voted for Trump, and then you can delete those people.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah.
but I'm like, oh. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just over all of it.
Yep. Like, I cleaned out a lot of toxic people from my Facebook in 2016. Like, I delete a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then every once in a while, and this sort of happened recently, like every once in a while, somebody will pop back in
Mm-hmm.
in some fashion, right? whether it's they find the show's page and they like or comment on something, or they friend request me again,
Right.
or someone else recommends something of theirs to me.
Right.
And that happened recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the name and I was like, I wonder if that's who I think it is. The person that the person was referring something of. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I remember that. Yep. Yep. Hardcore Christian Republican. Pass.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to be that way,
Yeah,
but there's a reason I deleted you all.
Like, there's a part of me that is like, don't create the echo chamber because you don't know what's going on.
Yep.
But if I want to see stupidity, I'll just turn on Fox News. I don't want to see it in my personal news feed.
Yeah.
And there's no way around that.
Right. And if you could have civil conversations about any of this stuff too, like
there was a point where I was just ready to delete my Facebook for 2020, period, the end. Because I know that no matter what happens with this election,
it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, I don't know.
I got my dad talking about taxes today. We were talking about, this is actually a great tie-in because we were talking about this. So what's happening is Monday in Tallahassee, there is a big teachers public education march / rally,
right,
to support public education, and we'll go through all of those things in a moment. But when we were talking about it, we were talking about like a lot of our teachers aren't going to be. They're going to be in Tallahassee. They're going to the Capitol for this rally. They're not going to be in the classroom on Monday. And so kind of talking about the way that the county has been handling that, the way the different schools have been handling that. And I don't know. I think I said something along the lines of like, well, we wouldn't even have to do any of this shit if they just pay teachers what they're worth. Like, that's what taxes are for. And stop taking public tax money and giving it to private Christian schools.
Yeah.
Whoo, boy. I said the magic word. I said the magic word.
Is that why he was mowing the lawn when I got home?
I don't know why. But I said tax.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't mind paying my fair share. As long as the government is not misusing my money. Okay, listen. Dad, hear me. We all pay.
He can't. He wasn't wearing his hearing aids today.
No, he went and he stopped and got him on the way over from lunch.
Did he? Okay.
Here's the foundational falsehood of taxes, right? We all pay taxes. We all pay into this bucket, right? Which we've decided that these few hundred people are going to represent us to make decisions of what to do with that money.
Mm-hmm.
We all pay for shit through our taxes that we wish we weren't paying for.
Absolutely.
I wish we weren't spending as much tax money federally as we do on the military and foreign wars. I wish my government didn't spend my money in that way. Go down the line, every single person to a person can name a thing that the government spends their tax money on that they don't like.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of it.
Right.
You can't please everybody. We're not all going to get exactly what we want.
Man, I wish I was here.
And that's not like government mismanagement of funds.
Yeah.
It's a program that you don't like.
Right. And most of these programs have had to go through different hoops and votes and legislation, and it's not like one guy just says, oh, we're gonna use a tax. Well,
Yeah.
But for the most part.
Yep. So that was fun.
I wish that my taxes weren't going to pay for imprisonment of people who were arrested on marijuana possession.
Yes. Yes. Sure. Right. I wish that our tax dollars weren't going towards the punitive punishment system of prisons, period. Say that. P.
Oh my. No, I'm not going to try that one.
I wish we would spend that money on rehabilitative programs.
Yeah.
Rather than lock them up, throw them away, and forget that they exist. And, well, the problem's solved because I don't want... that's not how I want my money spent.
Nope.
Look, we all have this thing.
Yeah.
We all do, because we all disagree about how things should work.
Right.
So the idea is we all throw money into the bucket, and you pick the people that you've chosen to represent you, and if they're not representing you, you stop letting them represent you.
Right. You vote them out. It's not difficult.
Right.
I mean...
Victoria says, in this episode, we learn who gets killed by a monster first when everybody wears the red shirt. I was more of a TNG kid. I grew up on Next Gen. I wasn't much
But he died too in the red shirt.
No, red shirt was command in TNG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was engineering and security in
I thought
the original series.
I thought it was like the whole thing, everybody in a red shirt.
Nope,
I guess
that was the original
Riker
series.
wore a red shirt. That's true.
Mm-hmm. I'm impressed. Look at you knowing people's names.
Okay.
Name 5 characters from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Captain Picard.
Yep.
Data.
Okay.
Dana Troy. Dana? Troy?
Close.
Something Troy.
Deanna.
Deanna. I see it.
2 more.
Oh my gosh. Jean-Luc Picard, of course.
Didn't you say him already?
No. I said Riker.
Mm-hmm.
I said Data.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Riker, Data, Troy, Picard.
Oh crap, what was his name? Geordi.
Okay, you win. I had my hand on the no button.
I was going to
ready.
say LeVar Burton, but that's his real name. But I could go.
I'm going to come up with a Star Trek quiz for you.
The doctor's son's name? Wesley.
Yep.
Yeah. I could.
I'm impressed. This is good.
Commander Worf.
I'm so totally going to make a Star Trek quiz for you now that you have to take on the show one of these days.
Oh, what's that stupid guy? What was his name? Q.
Yes, John Delancey. I love John Delancey. Okay, so anywho, let's start with. I want to end on the education thing because that's going to tie us into what we're doing Monday and what next week's show might be.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just sort of go down the line here through some of the news stories that I pulled out. This is out of Fox Tampa Bay. More people moved to Florida last year than any other state, according to U-Haul.
Oh.
Florida's population continues to rise, adding about 640 people a day, according to latest estimates from the U.S. Census. So it will come as no surprise that U-Haul has ranked Florida number 1 on its list of top growth states, based on the number of U-Haul trucks entering the state versus the number exiting.
It does not surprise me.
A public service announcement.
We're full.
Don't come here. Have you seen our news? Statistically speaking, you are so likely to become a Florida man just by moving here. Please don't.
Not to mention, if you look at the studies that the people in the science community have put forth about what's going to happen to Florida when the polar caps continue to melt, we're going to be underwater. Now, add that to how long was Puerto Rico having earthquakes the other day?
Mm-hmm.
There keeps having earthquakes down there in the Caribbean. We're going to also start seeing tsunamis on top of being, underwater and our coastlines shrinking to oblivion. So there's no more room. We're going to have to start huddling up and putting our tents at the top of parking garages to not drown in our sleep.
The last 4 years, Florida was number 2 on the list. Who was the number 1 state?
Do I know anybody there?
Yes.
Is it a coastal state?
We're not playing 20
Oh, come on, give me
questions.
three. Give me 3 questions.
Nope.
It's not a coastal
No,
state.
sort of.
Okay. Last question. Is it on the Gulf?
Yes.
Texas.
Yes.
Obviously, they've got the most room.
Anyway. So, yeah. Public service announcement, don't come to Florida.
My guess was going to be Texas or California.
Right. Yeah, California would make sense.
Right.
I would think.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, see, I expect an uptick in people moving to places like Colorado and Illinois.
Right, places that legalized weed. Right.
That's the studies I want to see.
Right. Keith guessed Georgia. Nope. And David says, "Okay, boomers, stop moving here." Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Washington rounded out the top 5 states this year on the U-Haul list.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Y'all have no idea. And that the sad part about that is most people don't realize this, but working in the theme park industry, we heard this story a lot where once you move here, you get stuck here and you can't leave even if you want to. Yeah. Because you just can't make enough money.
Yeah, it's true.
To get out.
Yeah.
It's totally true.
There's a lot to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I
don't know.
Okay. I was going to talk personally speaking, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
That. No, it's not. How about some Mormon church news?
Ooh, that's always interesting.
A court in Montana reversed. This is a Jehovah's Witness story.
I was about to say, wait.
A court in Montana reversed. Well, I was going to do the Mormon story first, but I changed my mind. Montana court reverses $35 million child abuse verdict against Jehovah's Witnesses. You've been following this? This is your people.
I saw the headline and I can't even bring myself to stomach to read it because it just infuriates me. The whole thing infuriates me.
A lower court had found that the church illegally failed to report a child sexual abuser to authorities, which allowed him to continue sexually abusing another child. This from NPR. This is a story that we have heard out of the witnesses time and time.
Yeah, this is not an isolated incident. This is something that happens over and over and over.
This is out of their playbook. The unanimous decision from 7 state Supreme Court justices found that religious authorities... Let me slow this down. Chew on every one of these words. Religious authorities are not always obligated to report child sexual abuse to authorities due to an exemption in Montana state law. Now, let me add to that, Montana's not alone here. And if you have been hearing me screech about Project Blitz for the last year and a half or however long it's been, Project Blitz, the move by the religious right to enshrine Christian law into this country, state by state, a big part of what they're doing is exempting religion from all kinds of things that we hold everyone else accountable to.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a teacher, the topic of the day, if you're a teacher and it comes to your attention that another teacher might be sexually abusing a child, you don't have an exemption. You report that shit.
And if you don't, your ass will be on the chopping block too if they find out you knew about it.
But we give religion a free pass.
We give them a free pass for everything.
Yes.
They don't pay taxes. They're psychopath believers commit atrocities and kill their children and oh well, you know.
Right. My baby's turning blue, but we're gonna pray instead of go to the hospital.
It's just all fucking bullshit.
So you have things like this, and they're trying to make it worse. They're trying to make it so that you have a religious exemption to not make a cake for the gay couple, that you have a religious exemption to not put someone up in your homeless shelter because you're a religious-based homeless shelter. If you run an adoption agency and you're a Christian, you shouldn't have to adopt those children out to non-Christians or gay people or anything else that makes you feel a little weird.
Right. I want to full stop here for a minute. David says, not just witnesses, this happens in all religion.
Oh, yes.
And yes, absolutely it does. However, speaking from somebody who, okay, I have seen the letters sent out by the Watchtower Society to the body of elders of whatever congregations. There's these letters have gotten scanned into the internet, and they are there for everybody to see, where elders have been instructed by the headquarters to destroy any records they have of any person who has been accused of molesting a child. And they do this because they see that people are starting to come forward, and then courts are requesting records. And if they've already destroyed them, then there's no record. I'm sorry. This guy molested a child, and he should go down for it, but so should every person down the line who tried to hide it. Because the people up in New York who are sending out these letters to tell these elders to destroy this stuff, and the elders that actually do it, they all need to go down. Okay, I'm done ranting.
If you go to truthandtransparency.org, these are the we talked to Ryan. No, we didn't talk to Ryan. We talked to shit. Now I don't think of his name, but anyway, they're the Ethan Gregory Dodge. We talked to from Mormon Leaks and Faith Leaks, and they've sort of moved that all over to Truth and Transparency Foundation. They publish letters like this. I wasn't gonna dig into this, but let's dig into this. So this is a letter dated August 1st, 2016. Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, office in New York, to all bodies of elders regarding protecting minors from abuse. This letter replaces the letter dated October 1st, 2012, to all bodies of elders regarding child abuse, and has been added to the list of policy letters cited in blah, 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 the following information, yada, yada. Child abuse includes sexual or physical abuse of a minor. It would also include the extreme neglect of a minor by her parent. Child sexual abuse is a perversion and generally includes sexual intercourse with a minor, oral or anal sex with a minor, fondling the genitals, blah, blah, blah. It lists all these things. Depending on the circumstances of the case, it may include involvement with child pornography or sexting with a minor. And then, because most of these are old dudes, they have to explain what sexting is.
Well, they have to, because that's how they get off.
I'm not touching that. Not touching it.
I'm just saying.
From the Bible standpoint, child sexual abuse is a gross sin. And then it gives a bunch of biblical references I don't care about. Jehovah's Witnesses abhor child sexual abuse. Thus, the congregation will not shield any perpetrator of such repugnant acts from the consequences of his sin. Scripture places the responsibility on parents for teaching and protecting their children. As spiritual shepherds, elders can help parents to shoulder their scriptural responsibility. Our publications and website contain helpful information. Okay. Legal considerations. In some jurisdictions, individuals who learn of an allegation of child abuse may be obligated by law to report the allegation to the secular authorities. In all cases, the victim and her parents have the absolute right to report an allegation to the authorities. This is a departure in right. Yeah, yes. This is a departure in print. Not in practice.
No, because what happens, and it's happened over and over and over again, and I've had conversations with people who have had this happen, where they have reported, made allegations to the elders. The elders say, okay, well, we'll pray with you, we'll go talk to the dude, whatever. And then have been basically told, we'll handle it within the congregation.
Yep.
Then they're encouraged to not take their brother before the court, right?
Right.
That's a scripture.
Right.
That they're shown, and
Mm-hmm.
And then there have been multiple cases where people have gotten disfellowshipped from the congregation because they called the police because their kid got raped.
Yep.
So they say one thing.
So then it goes on to the legal department. and this is talking about the Watchtower's legal team. Okay, to ensure that elders comply with child abuse reporting laws, 2 elders should immediately call the legal department for legal advice when the elders learn of an accusation of child abuse. And then it cites Romans 13, 1 through 4.
Where's the Bible?
I don't know. This room is a fucking trash heap.
I know, it's a mess.
I got it. Hold on. We have the internet. We have technology. Oh, submission to governing authorities.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Submission. Yeah. Okay.
Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. You know, this is, oddly, this is the same scripture that the Trumpites are pitching as a, God had to have chosen Trump because, there's no authority that comes to power without God's hand.
You know what pisses me off? They sit there and they say, Jehovah's Witnesses abhor child abuse and all of this stuff, right? They do. Oh, yeah. They abhor it. Mm-hmm. So much so that they won't call the police on a predator. They will protect the predator. But then, if somebody comes into that Kingdom Hall and does a peaceful protest because she has been kicked out of the hall because her husband raped her child and then she lost custody because the witnesses came in with their big fancy New York lawyers and made her look like an irresponsible parent, and now her child is in the custody of her rapist, but they call the police on that woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting.
A call to the legal department should be made even when both persons involved are minors. The elders should not ask an alleged victim, the accused person, or anyone else to call the legal department on the elder's behalf. Elders should call the legal department even in the following situations: if the abuse occurred many years ago, if it's based on the testimony of only one witness, abuse is believed to be repressed memory. I don't even want to start down the anti-science of that statement. Abuse involves perpetrators or victims who are now deceased. It goes on and on. The legal department will provide legal advice based on the facts and the applicable law. If the individual who is accused of the child abuse is associated with your congregation, the 2 elders calling should provide the legal department with the individual's date of birth and, if applicable, his date of baptism. Because that makes a difference of, oh my God. After speaking with the legal department, the call will be transferred to the service department so that the elders can receive further assistance. 2 elders should immediately call the legal department regarding any prison inmate, baptized or unbaptized, who has been accused of child abuse, blah, blah, blah. If the elders become aware of an adult associated with the congregation who has been involved with child pornography, 2 elders should immediately call the legal department. So here's the thing. We're at number 9 on the list. Here's what the Church of the Almighty Sarah document would say. To all, I don't want to call us elders. We need to be goddesses or something. To all bodies of goddesses, if it comes to your... I got a body of a goddess right here.
Oh, honey.
I know, keep drinking. If it comes to your attention that something happened that involves a child, call the fucking police.
No, something illegal.
That's the first thing.
Something illegal. That's the
abuse, sex abuse,
whatever
it is.
It's all illegal.
Right. Call the police.
Yeah, like that's the thing that it pisses me off so much.
That's step 1.
The person has broken the law. If you're in an accident as a Jehovah's Witness and somebody rear ends you, they don't tell you not to call the police. Well, if it was a witness that rear-ended you.
Yep.
Oh, God. This whole subject just pisses me off because I've heard so many stories and I've talked to so many people who have gone through such horrific, horrible things. And I'm just over it. I wish that their Armageddon would come.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wish they would just, the religion could just be wiped off the face of the earth. That one specifically. And then let's get rid of the others too. But can we please start with this one?
So then you got congregation considerations, providing spiritual assistance to the victims, investigating allegations, judicial committee. If the body of elders concludes that there is sufficient scriptural evidence to warrant the formation of a congregation judicial committee on the grounds of child sex abuse. Now that means that's 2 witnesses. The coordinator of the body of elders should first contact the circuit overseer. And I'm sorry, if you have a religious organization with things named circuit overseer, that's just fucking creepy.
You have district overseer.
Yeah, overseer is just one of those culty words that
they have a presiding overseer. There's a service overseer.
Fucking red flags all over the place.
Oh yeah, it's basically a board of directors.
The circuit overseer will designate an experienced elder,
but they don't have board meetings,
to serve as chairman of. Neither do we. Serve as chairman of the. Keith, hey, we need to have we need to really seriously. We need to have a board meeting. Circuit overseer will designate an experienced elder to serve as chairman of the judicial committee, and if needed, the appeal committee. If wrongdoing is established and the wrongdoer is not repentant, he should be disfellowshipped. Now, let me slow that down again too, and you can. I could do it, but I'd rather have you translate the witness speak.
Great. Okay, go.
If wrongdoing is established and the wrongdoer is not repentant, he should be disfellowshipped. Read between the lines.
Okay. So if wrongdoing is established, is if there is 2 or more witnesses to the accusation that can say, yeah, he did it, that can be an establishment of wrongdoing. Or if the wrongdoer admits that they did it.
Now, all of this comes from...
If the wrongdoer admits it, then that kind of makes the 2-witness rule kind of not matter.
Right.
Right.
All of this comes from further in this document and the shepherding textbook, apparently chapter 5. Now, if the wrongdoer is repentant, then what happens? By God, somebody gets called up and, hey, you did a bad thing. Are you sorry for what you did? Yeah, oh my God, yes, I'm so sorry, Lord Jesus, Jehovah, God, please save me, repent me, help me, I have a problem.
Yeah.
Then what do? Welcome back, brother. Then you're not disfellowshipped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking bullshit.
So now there's a whole other thing that my dear brother just reminded me of.
Mm-hmm.
We recently found out of a story of a brother in one of our congregations who was arrested for possession of child pornography. And apparently his mugshot was all over the mugshot website, public information. Anybody could have found it if they were looking for it. I don't even know if he's at a court date yet. But he got assistance by the, group of elders. I don't know the full story, to just up and move away so that he didn't have to face anyone in the congregation.
Right. Right.
Yep. And this is a normal thing that happens all the time. Protect the predator.
Yep.
Protect the bad guy. Because, and it's, to me, and who was it? Who is it? David said victim and her parents, not to downplay the sexual abuse of girls, but it happens to boys and non-binary too. You're absolutely right, it does. But in the witness world, anything outside of the binary and hetero world,
right?
Don't talk about that.
Right.
So,
yep.
Oh my God.
It does then go on to say, on the other hand, if the wrongdoer is repentant and is reproved, the reproof should be announced to the congregation. Reinstatement committee restrictions, filing, moving to another congregation when an individual who has been accused of child sexual abuse, established or not, moves to another congregation. 2 elders from the congregation the individual moves from should immediately call the legal department. The elders should be prepared to provide the name of the new congregation if known. This should be done even if the individual is disfellowshipped or is in prison and is transferred to another facility or is released. Congregation Service Committee should not send any information to the new congregation until after receiving legal advice from the legal department and direction from the service department. Now, what that doesn't say is, and hey, receiving congregation, here's what you should do to protect the people there, because we don't.
Because, I was going to say, this is what happens. Once they get word, go ahead, okay, send their record card. Now, anytime you have a publisher in a congregation, they have a record card. And it's in a little thing, and the secretary keeps it, and blah, blah, blah. Now, that record card will have notes. If there's anything that ever happens out of the ordinary, if there's a judicial meeting, if there's, counseling, if there, whatever it is, any kind of thing, it's marked on that card. If the brother applied for Bethel and was rejected, that's on the card. Whatever it is.
Yep.
So, if somebody had been accused of whatever, it would be on the card.
Mm-hmm.
Once they get the green light to forward the card, they forward the card. Sometimes it might come with a letter with a little more detail. But, like Sarah said, there's never anything that goes out to the congregation, hey, we have a new person in town.
By the way,
you might want to keep your kids away from him.
Right.
Nobody ever tells you that. We had somebody in one of the congregations I was in. And nobody knew, I only found out about it because a friend of mine had a kid, and she found out about it because her husband was good friends with an elder, and that elder, was like, hey, on the down low. They're not allowed to tell anybody. They're told it's private. It's between them and Jehovah. But you know what is going to become? It's going to be between them and my fist and a shotgun if they touch my children.
This document goes on to say, when elders are informed that an individual who has been accused of child sexual abuse, established or not, has moved into the congregation, so this is a receiving congregation, 2 elders should immediately call the legal department. This should be done even if the individual is disfellowshipped or is in prison or is transferred, yada, blah, 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 blah. If the individual is disfellowshipped and living within the congregation's territory, the elders should list that address on the appropriate congregation territory card as a do not call. Step 23. Notification by secular authorities. From time to time, secular authorities may inform the elders that a sex offender is living in the area. That's not even you, the elders, notifying the police. This is the police call you up and say, hey, we just want to let you know there's a child sex offender moved into the area. When do we call the cops?
I'm going to tell you what, right now. So if I were going to the Kingdom Hall and I looked around, and there's an app for that. You can go on a little app and you can pull up a map of your local area and you can see where all the sex offenders live because they're registered.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
I'm going to tell you what. I'll use school as an example because I'm never going to step foot in a Kingdom Hall or a church, that's for sure. But if I looked on the little map and found out that one of my teachers at my school was a registered sex offender and the school hadn't notified me, now this is completely unprecedented because it's probably illegal. But do you get where I'm going here?
Yep.
I don't understand how any of these people who have children can be okay with the guidelines that are set forth here for handling this situation. Because I've got to believe somewhere that there are more elders that look at this and go, this is not the right way to handle this, because if this were my kid, this is how I would want it done, not this garbage that they're giving us.
Right. Anyway, so go to truthandtransparency.org. They have published that the letter that I just read is an internal memo that they are leaking all kinds of documents like this. There is an entire section of, in January 2018, they released 33 letters and internal documents that detail an investigation around sexual abuse with the congregation, which went all the way back to 1999.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we talked about that when it first broke.
I got one more thing from the chat on this, and then we can move on if you want.
Yeah.
Victoria says the story is focused on punishment for the offender. Let us not forget how they go out of their way to refuse help and counseling for the victims, because that would be admitting it happened. And that is such a painfully true point, because they might pray with them, but there's no like, hey, you should go see a counselor or a therapist or no, there's never a suggestion of that. It's turn to Jehovah. Jehovah will help you. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter what your problem is. Jehovah ain't going to help you with shit.
So let me read to you one of these letters that was released in 2018. This is from January 2007, Body of Elders, Palmer Congregation, Massachusetts. Enclosed is a copy of the 2007 letter written by brother such and such, wherein expressing concern about the conduct of his daughter and son-in-law. You'll no doubt agree. In reviewing the letter, the brother presents nothing in the way of new facts that would consider us to look at the situation differently. It goes on. Please arrange for 2 elders to call brother and sister. Those selected should explain to brother so-and-so that we are responding to his letter by means of their visit. He should be encouraged to reflect on the words of Ecclesiastes 12:14. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the NPR article. I'm going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Move on. The court's opinion stated that Holly McGowan told local Jehovah's Witness elders in 1998 that she was being abused by her stepfather. Stepfather had married her mother 4 years prior. Because the stepfather did not confess and McGowan did not have a second witness to her allegations, she was told that the elders could not take further action. According to the opinion, the abuse, quote, escalated to numerous incidents of rape. 6 years later, her brother told an elder that their stepfather had also sexually abused him. McGowan provided a letter to back up his claims, acting as a second witness. The elder did not report the allegations to authorities, but convened a committee that banished the stepfather from the congregation. They reinstated him just over a year later at his request, according to the opinion. 2002, the stepfather also started molesting Alexis, the niece of McGowan and her brother. She was 5 years old when the abuse began and 10 years old when it ended. It says the abuse happened on a weekly basis. 2016 lawsuit. They accused the church of negligence for failing to report the child abuse report to authorities. Court ruled then that Jehovah's Witnesses illegally failed to report the abuse, and the jury awarded $4 million in actual damages and $31 million in punitive. It also points out here that NPR does not typically name survivors of sexual abuse without their permission. The law office representing them said they are supportive of their names appearing in press. In the court's opinion on Wednesday, Justice Beth Baker wrote that the church was not a mandatory reporter of abuse because of the exception in state law. State law says that, quote, a member of the clergy or a priest is not required to make a report under this section if the communication is required to be confidential by canon law, church doctrine, or established church practice. When you ask me, why, Sarah, can't we just let people believe whatever they want? It's not hurting anyone. The fuck it is.
Something else that just dawned on me that I was going towards, but I got sidetracked because this topic just pisses me off all the way around. Did you notice how they didn't take her claim seriously, but once her brother, a male, complained, then it became a little more serious?
Yep.
This is normal.
Well, they would say, no, but he had 2 witnesses, see, and she didn't.
Well,
she didn't have any witnesses.
It doesn't matter.
I know. I'm with you.
They're a sexist group of assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Women are second-class citizens, if that. I can't.
Meanwhile, in Mormon land, an Oregon woman is suing the Mormon church for nearly $10 million because church officials did the right thing. This is from him at Meta at the Friendly Atheist. A couple years ago, Timothy Samuel Johnson admitted to his wife, Christine, that he had molested an underage girl. Instead of alerting the cops, the couple went to their local Mormon temple in order to confess his sin to church leaders, which is, they say, similar to confession in Catholic Church. Unlike the Catholic Church, however, when the LDS leaders found out what he had done, they told the cops instead of maintaining irrational confidentiality, and those cops quickly arrested Johnson.
Holy crap.
He has since been sentenced to 15 years in jail after pleading guilty to 4 counts of second-degree sex abuse.
Good.
Christine is now suing a leader in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We can't call them Mormons anymore.
Can we call them less than?
Hey, stop protecting molesters, and I'll call you whatever you want to be called. Until then, I'll call you a cult. The man who apparently trained clergy members so badly that they didn't keep the confession of a crime a secret, and for ruining her husband's life. Their 4 kids are also named as plaintiffs.
Wow.
The man's confession was meant to be confidential, said the family's attorney. He said local clergy action totally violated church policy. It's been devastating on the family. On the family?
Yeah.
They lost a husband and father. On the family?
You know what those victims lost?
Fuck you. Church leaders' actions deprived Johnson's wife and children of his companionship, society, love, and income, according to the lawsuit.
You know what? You reap what you sow, dude. You deserved it. You earned it.
Clergy knew or should have known that violating the doctrine of confidentiality under the circumstances alleged in this complaint would most certainly injure his wife and his children financially. Okay, again, we're talking about protecting victims. We do all of this wrong from jump. First, we let churches hide predators and not have to follow the laws that everyone else has to follow. Now, that's not everywhere in this country, but it's a lot of the states that have those religious exemptions. So we let them get away with just not reporting it to authorities. Then, if they do get caught up in the secular system, we don't make an effort to rehabilitate them. We throw them in jail and throw away the key. And I understand why a lot of people make arguments from emotion of why that's a great thing. I get that, trust me. But then the worst part is that we do absolutely fucking nothing for the victims. Nothing. We do nothing to the perpetrator and next to nothing for the victims.
You know, I'd really love to get this woman in a room and ask her what she would want done if it were her children that were being victimized by some guy. Like, because that's the thing that people in these situations that think that they never look at the shoe on the other foot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand that. As a mother, I don't understand that.
Right.
Because I can never look at somebody's situation and not think, how would I handle that if that were my kid?
I don't understand how you're Christine and Timothy comes to you and says, honey, I have to confess something to you. I diddled a kid. And her response is, oh, the church ruined our lives because they reported this. My first response would have been, what the fuck have you done to our children, you piece of shit?
Yeah.
Have you touched them?
Yeah.
And get out.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even going to give you the opportunity to try.
Mm-mm.
Out.
Have you got any uplifting?
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay.
Sure. Anyway, so the lawsuit now is, let's see, asking for $5.5 million for the wife, $1 million for the child, $40,000 in legal fees
What's
to
the
make up for
victim
the lost income. Now that daddy rapist is behind bars. For what it's worth, Oregon is one of only 28 states where church leaders are considered mandatory reporters. Do that quick math.
One of how many?
28 states
Okay.
have actual
Okay.
churches do not have exemption.
Not good enough, guys.
Like public
It's not
school
good enough.
teachers, they're required to tell secular authorities about possible abuse if they learn about it. Church leaders, especially from the Catholic Church, have fought against such laws. Church leaders have fought against such laws, saying that confessions are a sacrament, and anything less than complete confidentiality would be an obstacle to the practice of their faith. Your faith is garbage.
Also, your own Bible says what did it say? Follow the laws of the land. Fucking assholes.
So yes, the Mormons did the right thing in this case. So I guess you got to give something there.
Yeah.
Like that they actually reported it.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to.
Mm-hmm. What would be really nice is if she loses this lawsuit and they turn around and give the money to the victims.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Right.
We know that's not happening.
This is the kind of stuff that you need to keep in the back of your mind when you're voting.
Yeah.
Because and you know,
read those bills carefully.
And on this show, I'm happy to be partisan as fuck. There's one party that's happy to pass all of these exemption laws, and it's the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
Period. There may be some troubling Democrats. There may be some problematic people out there that say things that don't, you know, they don't line up exactly. This is like we're talking about with the 2020 presidential election, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody's perfect. There's not a perfect candidate. Some of them are super friendly to the faith community where I would prefer them not to be. Like, there's all of that stuff. However, on the other side, literally all of them
radical.
It is so divided down partisan lines that if a bill comes up, and worse, here in Florida, we've got Kim Daniels, who runs a ministry where she talks in tongues and shit, and she's a Democrat, and she and Sabatini, the Republican counterpart in the other house there, the two of them file all of these stupid bills expanding religious privilege.
I don't think she qualifies as a Democrat. Just saying. She's
registered as one, and that's good enough.
Yeah, I don't...
Right, but if you're going to vote with the Republicans every time, you might as well be a Republican.
Right.
And where's the Democratic Party? Where's the leadership in the Democratic Party to be like, whoa, lady?
Yeah, somebody needs to back her ass up. Or kick her to the curb. Like, I can't...
Okay.
Okay.
We have been telling you of the terrors, the impending terrors that are robots.
Automation is coming for your jobs.
It is. This is out of Business Insider from 2017. Okay, I pulled an old article, and I pulled this for a reason. Because we've only really just begun to talk about this. In 2017, Elon Musk was already talking about universal basic income. We've got to start taking that seriously.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to. He said at a World Government Summit in Dubai, again in 2017, I think we'll end up doing universal basic income. It's going to be necessary. Obama had reported that year, based on several reports, had said that as many as 50% of jobs could be replaced by robots by 2030. Now, the environmental apocalypse is going to kill us all before then, but the warning signs have been there. I don't remember when we did our first episode on UBI. I don't feel like it was that long ago. I feel like it was, maybe it was, I don't know.
It may be a year, maybe more.
But what I love and why I'm putting this out into the universe again is we're getting to a point where presidential candidates are starting to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that aren't are, and we've discussed this to a point too, you're angling for cabinet jobs or, some other, position in the party or whatever. Or that you're trying to keep your issue, your one thing alive.
Yeah.
And Andrew Yang's one thing is UBI.
Right.
And he's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Did we talk last week about Finland going to their
No.
We didn't talk about that?
I don't think we talked about it on the show.
Finland is the female leader of Finland, BT Dubs.
Yeah.
They are considering, she's pushing for a movement to reduce the work week from what we're used to in America as a 8-hour day, 5 days a week, down to, I believe it was 5 or 6 hours a day, 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm. I'm all for that. Let's go to Finland.
Right? It's cold. I hear.
It's okay.
It's real cold.
We'll just get some thermal underwear. We'll be okay.
But here we are
you
again.
don't have to go out in it though. Only 4 days a week.
Here we are again, right? America, the best goddamn nation on the planet. America, not leading the way.
No, not at all.
Every other country every other developed Western country in the world has some form of socialized medical care.
Mm-hmm.
We can't figure that out. Now we're starting to see other advanced countries figure out, like, this is a solution to the robot problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Universal basic income is part of it because, see, what's going to happen is the entire economy, the entire structure of the economy it will change. Mm-hmm. It will have to, because let's say suddenly we change the work week from 5 8s to 4 6s. Okay? You're working 4 6-hour days. That's 24 hours a week instead of 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
You still paying me the same?
Mm.
We
can't even raise the minimum wage. It's been like 10 years.
Right. We have our dicks so hard in this country for fucking productivity and measuring everything. And unless you're productive, then you're useless. We got to get past that. And that's a good way. That we have to restructure the work week so that and life shouldn't be about that. It shouldn't be about working to live. Oh, I work a job I hate so that I can pay for the things that make me happy and have a home and a family and all of that stuff.
But I have to work so much that I can't enjoy the things that I'm paying for that make me happy, so I'm not happy.
So it's not working.
So then I have to spend more money on therapy, so I need to work overtime to pay for therapy.
Because my insurance don't cover it. Yes.
Oh, my God.
I'm just saying, if you're one of those people who is resistant to the idea, look into it a little more. There have been smaller scale sort of tests done. We covered a few of those the last time the first episode when we really deep dived into UBI, that we looked at those, and everywhere that it's just a good idea. But that's my tax money, and I worked hard for my money, and you shouldn't get my money.
Victoria says this is a Star Trek heavy episode. How about we just abolish money in general?
Amen.
Let's do it.
Amen.
David said Andrew Yang is the only politician I know of talking about this. That's why I support him.
Yep.
Sherry says this is America, and we don't need no help. Our guns will save us.
Right.
And Russell is apparently harassing you a little bit about your pronunciation of robot. and says, if I choke to death on my bagel from laughing, just know it's Sarah's fault because of her
Where the
pronunciation.
hell did I steal that
aerobic.
from? I stole that from somebody.
I don't know, but it's bizarre.
Is it Futurama, maybe?
I have no idea.
Shit, I don't know. Damn it, there was a... What? Go ahead.
Victoria says, don't worry, you have universal health care. Oh, wait.
Yeah. So, while we're on that, I don't want to have to get into the whole conversation about the nuance of socialism versus social democracy versus democratic socialism versus a democracy with socialist policies. Let's not get into that, okay? But I follow the Socialist Party on Twitter. I don't do much on Twitter. I follow people. I don't tweet a lot. And they tweeted a thing that was pretty,
You're just there for Chrissy Teigen's presidential burns.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a hot take on capitalism, and so it's a picture of. I wish I could throw it on the screen easily. So there's a picture of people waiting in line for something.
Marijuana?
No, this was
A new iPhone.
This is a health center. It's outside a health center.
Oh,
People waiting in line.
flu shot.
It says capitalism, where you wait for healthcare.
Yeah.
And then on the other side it says socialism, where healthcare waits for you. And it's a picture of this like real fancy operating room with like buttons and gizmos and whiz bangs everywhere. It looks like fucking Star Trek is what it looks
It
like.
really does look like what's her face? The doctor's
Crusher.
Crusher. Yeah.
And so there were lots of fun responses. One person said, so if I'm reading this right, in your proposed society, the dumbest, laziest, least productive person in a society has a voice that counts as much as the smartest, most motivated, and productive person. Seems pretty sustainable. Stifle those who create to prop up those who don't. So if I'm reading this right, in your proposed society, the dumbest, laziest, least productive person in society has a voice that counts as much as the smartest, most motivated, and productive person. Period, full stop. Yes! Yes, they do! That's the difference. And that was my response. Like all other, we can argue all kinds of points about socialism and, whether it's classless and who owns the means of production and all this bullshit. But as a starting point, can we just agree that all humans, even the dumb, lazy, unproductive ones, are humans and have value? Can we start there? Can we just say that those people should be valued by others? Because the next step from this sort of line of thinking is, and I'm going to say this in accent so that you know why I'm using these words, because I normally wouldn't. But the next thing is, but them kids and born and mentally retarded, and we got to pay for them, and they can't do nothing. We should just kill them. That's the same argument. They can't be productive. They're born with physical deformities that don't allow them to go work a job. They're born with but they're human beings, and they value. I value them. Can we value them? Can we all agree that a human being born, regardless of all these other things, is something that we should value?
It has been proven time and time again that children, specifically children, thrive in environments where they feel valued, where their self-esteem is nurtured, where they are built up, where they are treated equal to their peers, where they are spoken to like they are humans and like their opinion matters and like their feelings matter. You don't grow out of that. That is a human trait. Full stop.
David says, unfortunately, it looks like Yang will not make the next debate because they haven't been qualifying for polls. The closer and closer we get, the higher that bar gets. and it'll be, Bernie, Liz, and Biden soon, and that's it.
Your glass is empty.
It is, and I don't have any more with me, but I don't have enough I don't have enough content to take a break and go refill it, so we're gonna just go to the last story.
Okay, I had a couple of rants, but okay.
Well, if we're gonna do that, we're gonna take a break, and then come back, and you can rant.
Okay.
Well, talk while I load that up.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, then I'll waste my rants. Title for the show: Star Trek: The OK Boomers Generation.
Oh God. Can we maybe not?
No.
Though? Can we not?
Let's not.
Yeah, I really didn't have this planned. We haven't been taking breaks lately. I hope you guys appreciate that. I don't have any fun commercials to really play anyway.
Yes, everyone has value, even the commander in Cheeto, because he teaches us what not to do. Victoria?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sure, absolutely.
What a wise observation.
Right. That everyone has value does not mean that everyone should be in charge of nuclear weapons.
No, absolutely not. I mean, there's lines in the sand where you just don't cross them.
All right, I'm gonna throw up all of our favorite spoofy joke ads.
Okay.
And
how long is that going to give you?
I don't know, a couple minutes, and we'll take a break, and then we'll come back, and I'm going to talk about the Teachers March on Monday.
Yes.
And I don't know what you're going to talk about.
Just some random stuff that's been bugging the hell out of me.
I'm kind of worried, to be honest.
It's okay.
All right, we'll be right back. You're listening to Sarah Talk.
You let Jesus into your heart. Now it's time to bring him into your home with Flat Jesus. Take photos of Flat Jesus in questionable situations and share with the hashtag FlatJesus. Flat Jesus comes in 4 fun styles. Color your own Jesus, historically accurate brown Jesus, TSA approved white Jesus, and everybody's favorite, white Republican Jesus with American flag, assault rifle, and bald eagle accessories. But don't wait, apostates. Download your very own Flat Jesus right now at SarahTalk.com/Jesus. That's SarahTalk.com/Jesus now for your free Flat Jesus. The Bible says the earth is flat. Maybe Jesus was too.
Are you ready for your first card? As I look at the set I placed down for you, I see an interesting things rising. Some of it has to deal with love and money and changes, and hopefully they're going to be for the better. Now your first card represents your situation, maybe some problems you've been having, maybe a little bit about yourself. Your first card is sorrow. This card is letting us know that there is some type of disruption in your life. Not that it's a big deal, but this card is giving off a strange vibe of anxiety. Actually, this card is warm in my hand. Oh, now caller, if you listen here, I'm seeing in the cards. Oh, yes, the 45 of mangoes. The 45 of mangoes card says you're going to go on to Patreon and subscribe because there's nothing better than giving when receiving. What will you ask me? Find out now and I see for you. Call me now for a free tarot reading.
In today's health-conscious society, you have many beverage choices. But do you know what's in all of them? So much sugar, sodium, and things you can't even pronounce. Dihydrogen monoxide. What's that? Sometimes you wish you just had a simple, more elegant solution for your beverage needs. Introducing H2O, the first ever chemical-free thirst quencher. H2O is simple, simply composed of 3 portions of 2 elements, hydrogen and oxygen. H2O means chemical-free, unlike water, which is filled with all sorts of shit. When we tested H2O, we found traces of no other elements. So pure, the bottle may as well be fucking empty, with all the same nutritional content as a breath of cool mountain air. First widely featured on Goop.com, actress Gwyneth Paltrow revealed that she exclusively uses H2O for her vaginal steaming process. After all, why use water when you can steam it with H2O? So now we invite you to run out to your local garden hose and drink that shit. Remember, it's not water, it's H2O.
H2O bottled by Flint Bottling Company in Flint, Michigan. Product not actually endorsed by Goop or Gwyneth Paltrow. Please do not use H2O for vaginal steaming, or better yet, please do not steam your vagina. H2O is actually just water. Water is a set of molecular compounds. It's a chemical. Everything is a chemical.
This is Evan from Portage, Michigan. You are listening to SarahTalk.
Aww, I love Evan.
Sweet.
I haven't heard from him in a long time. This was the OG theme music of Sarah Talk back in the day before we became not safe for work. Evan, you shouldn't be listening to this show. We say fuck way too much. And other words that
yeah. Well, you know.
Although if you were in our house, sorry. If you were in our house, you'd know them all.
You'd say them too.
Yeah, exactly. And in the proper context.
Podcast.
Oh, shut up.
Oh my God. Don't tell me to shut up.
Okay, what are your rants before we go into the final topic?
Okay. People need to leave Meghan and Harry alone.
Oh, that was on my list. Hold on. I have a whole list I forgot about. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Just let them be. Fuck the royal family. Like, seriously, if they want to Megxit, it's okay.
Yep. Here's what's interesting about that story that we were talking about this at lunch today. So, first of all, the idea of royalty, the idea of royals, of a bloodline, of like, that whole thing is just tired and played, and why are we still doing that?
Yeah.
I absolutely, so the nuts and bolts that I got out of NPR was basically they were like, so we're just going to kind of separate from our royal roles. Like, we're just going to,
we're going to spend more time in North America.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be in Canada a lot.
Yeah. And the hilarious part was they didn't run this by the Queen.
No mama at all. Shit.
Well, I just, like, I'm not really a royal watcher.
No, that's the other thing. The fact that we both were like, oh my God, did you see the story? But is a big deal because we don't.
About the, like, okay, so when Princess Diana died, my little JW broken heart girl sent this kid a letter with a brochure. I swear to God, I did.
Wow.
What happens to your loved ones when you die? I'm not proud of this. Very ashamed. I don't think I've ever actually admitted it out loud, but I did. And I counted it as time. Anyway, I'm sure he received many of them. I don't know that they ever got to him. He was 15 and protected by the Royal Guard, so I doubt it. But anyway, that was like, in that moment, I remember watching the news the night of the accident. I remember waking up in the middle of the night to watch the funeral. I
had a very different experience.
I was 14, and so I was intrigued by the idea of the royal family and oh no, these poor kids, and
right.
Okay, so fast forward, I kind of paid attention when William married Kate, and then they started their family, and like their middle child is the same age as our youngest child, and so everybody kept telling me I needed to name my baby Charlotte or whatever. I'm like, no, or what is it, Charlotte? I don't even know. It doesn't even matter. See, that's how disconnected I am. I don't actually know. But anyway, but I'm just, it's there. People around me talk about it. But for some reason, this Meghan and Harry thing has had me intrigued from the beginning. Don't know why. Probably because she's an American and she's mixed race.
Right.
And he's a royal.
Right.
And they're very white.
Yes.
Yes,
we have to protect the bloodline.
So I've just been like kind of just, watching it in the side view, but I just feel bad for her, and I'm glad that he gets it.
Yeah.
Because she's going through all of the same scrutiny with the tabloids that his mother went through. Mm-hmm. And they're saying the same types of things, and they're doing the same types of stories, and it's like hurtful and painful, and for both of them, because they're attacking her character, and he's watching them attack the character of a woman he loves, and he's already experienced that with his mom and watched that eventually cause her death. And so I'm glad that he finally stepped up and said, hey, back off my wife. And then followed that up with a decision to, you know what, we're just going to back off. So, anyway.
This is from CNBC, the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan Markle has said that her British friends warned her against marrying Prince Harry because of British tabloid press intrusion. Speaking as part of a TV program broadcast Sunday, she said, when I first met my now husband, my friends were really happy because I was so happy. But my British friends said to me, I'm sure he's great, but you shouldn't do it because the British tabloids will destroy your life. And I, very naively, I'm American. We don't have that there. we kind of do. What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. I'm not in tabloids. I didn't get it. So it's been complicated. Yeah.
She was in one report, a reporter asked her, like, how are you handling everything? How are you doing? And you could see her kind of almost break down. And as she said, I'm not okay. Thank you for asking. Nobody has asked that.
Yeah,
and then she took me for that.
This is
that one pissed me off though, because that Meghan and Harry and Kate and William did this whole PR thing about mental health, and then Meghan gets in trouble for saying she's not okay.
Asked by presenter Tom Bradby about the impact of press intrusion on her mental and physical health, she said, any woman, especially when you're pregnant, this is when the couple's first child was born, especially when you're pregnant, you're really vulnerable. So that was made really challenging. And then when you have a newborn, and especially as a woman, it's a lot. So you add this on top of just trying to be a new mom, trying to be a newlywed. And also, thank you for asking, because not many people have asked if I'm okay, but it's a very real thing to be going through behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And the answer is, would it be fair to say not really okay, as in it's really been a struggle?
Yeah.
Bradby asked. Yes. Mm-hmm. She said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, but again, like this the following the royals thing, like I don't get it. But then I heard this on NPR on the way home from work the other day, and I was like, what?
This one has me interested. Like, I care less about Snooty Kate and William and their brood.
Yeah.
Like, all their baby, the baby, the picture of the, who fucking cares? I mean, and I don't even care about Meghan and Harry's baby. Like, I haven't even seen pictures of the baby. I don't really, it's just not a thing I care about. But the dynamic of their relationship and the parallels that are happening, it's just
well, and there was this whole thing too with a tabloid that published a personal letter that she had written to her father a while back. That was just like, it was a private personal letter, and then they just don't fucking care.
No, they
I'm gonna
don't
get the story. Anyway, also that's a good cautionary tale to the American listener when you're reading your news on whatever, clicking through the websites. Keep in mind that a lot of the UK news sites that get tossed around are not news sites. They're tabloid sites.
Yeah.
But they pass as news because we just don't know any better because we're dumb Americans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Speaking of dumb Americans, we should be teaching our kids better. And in order to do that, we actually have to fucking pay a teacher. Don't know if you knew that or not, but teachers like to eat, just like you. And so maybe we should, I don't know, give them money.
Yeah.
That's a thing we should probably do.
Yeah, that's probably a thing we should do.
Yep. Where do you want to start? Oh, let's start here. Over 1,000 teachers from our county alone are expected to call out on Monday.
That's a lot of teachers.
That's a lot of teachers. This is from News Channel 8. Thousands of Florida teachers, parents, and educators will gather at the Capitol on Monday, demanding more money to support schools. But who will watch the students while the teachers are away? We received concerned phone calls from parents who heard school bus drivers and lunch personnel would be sitting with the students. We spoke with the Polk County School Board, who confirmed that bus drivers, food prep workers, and custodial workers would not be filling any of the positions. Before I go on, let's stop there to say that we've had lots of conversations around we have teachers who are in our circles. And
yeah, lots of teachers in our circles.
Yes, and so we've been watching this. And like some schools are prepared to just shuffle all the kids into the theater to have them into the auditorium, and we're going to watch movies today. Like, because that's all they're going to be able to do.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that a lot of the misunderstanding that I think I've seen about this, because there's a lot of people that are like, well, we're doing this on Monday. Okay, it's the day before session starts, first of all, in Tallahassee. So a lot of the lawmakers will be arriving on Monday. And so the event is Monday, and there's also things happening on Tuesday, too. So there's a timing thing there. But also, sometimes to get people to listen to you, you got to inconvenience them. You got to make their lives a little harder.
Yep. So
that maybe they'll listen to what you're saying. Because for far too long, we've been screaming that teachers need to be paid better. We need to. How many times have you heard us say on this show in the past year about this push to, and Florida did it, take money, existing money from public education and give it to private Christian schools, because parents should have a choice on where their children are educated. Yeah, then they can pay for it.
Yeah,
if they choose that. But the social contract that we all entered into is that there will be a secular public education system. This is in our Constitution, BT Dubs. That will be provided through taxpayer dollars. And yet, year after year after year, Florida lawmakers, which by the way have been Republican since the 90s, I think early 2000s, late 90s, just keep taking more and more money away. And it's another one of those things that just I have a hard time making there's cognitive dissonance, I guess, in that aren't these the people that also say like that the failures of our society point back to the family and education? Aren't these always the people who are like, oh, where did you go to school? Public school.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they're the same people that have higher expectations, it would seem, and yet nobody wants to pay for it. No. Look, if you want to solve any of the problems that we bitch about, if you want to solve problems of people being indoctrinated into religions where adults rape children and then get covered up and moved to other congregations and the police never get called. You want to fix that? Educate people.
Mm-hmm.
Teach these kids critical thinking and skepticism so that when they're faced with the way that's handled poorly, the light bulbs go and the red flags fly and they go, wait, this isn't right.
Mm-hmm.
You got to teach them that stuff. No, we're homeschooling these kids in Jesus camp.
Yeah.
I make more than the average teacher salary in the state of Florida. And I'm here to tell you right now, name a teacher. Name the worst, what that guy say, name the laziest, most unproductive, worst teacher out there, and they do infinitely more than I do at my job.
Mm-hmm.
Infinitely more.
That's true. They deal with more.
Yep.
They see kids every day who struggle in all kinds of ways. They do everything they can. In most cases, they do everything they can to try to help these kids get an education.
Yep.
In a lot of cases, they're taking their own money to buy supplies for kids whose families can't afford them.
Yep.
In a lot of cases, they're taking their own money to buy food to feed kids in their class whose families can't afford to bring a snack to school every day. I could go on. I've spent a lot of time the last few years in an amazing school, and I've talked to a lot of amazing teachers. And I've heard so many heartbreaking stories about what these kids are going through and what these teachers have done in their years of education.
Yep.
The least we could do is make sure that they're getting paid what they're worth. Raise my taxes.
Yep.
How about this? How about you raise the taxes of the billionaires? Because they don't need that money. It's not difficult to solve the problem. You just have to want to.
And we do worse than nothing. Nothing would be, we just stop, we freeze all the raises. We don't add any new money to the education system. We just status quo. That's nothing. That's doing nothing. What do? We come in and say, hey, I'm going to take millions of dollars out of that bucket and give it to somebody else. Fuck off. Good luck. Good luck educating those kids. Oh, by the way, the teacher to class ratio is still the same. That hasn't changed. And you still have to meet all of these metrics and testing and bullshit that you have to do with less. And in 4 years, we'll look at it again and we'll take even more away. I have teachers in my family. My sister's a teacher. I have a niece that's a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So, at 3 o'clock in the morning last night, when we couldn't sleep.
Because, that's a thing in this house.
I'm used to being up all night, and so it's just really
So
hard.
she's just got to keep me awake.
Hold on.
What are you doing?
Now I got to switch the card.
Oh, okay.
Patreon.com/SarahTalk. If you would like to buy me a new USB card.
Oh, my goodness.
USB jump drive so that I can actually record a whole show without having to do this thing where I transfer a file in the middle of the show.
In the middle of the show, what is this world coming to?
So I don't know when it stopped either. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. That's why we have the Facebook.
I also don't know that it recorded at all.
Oh, shit. Well,
so
that's lovely.
If you're listening, you made it all the way to this point, and all you get is the shitty audio that I pull from the video. because
sorry,
this didn't work. Well, sorry. Patreon.com/SarahTalk. And I'm not even going to bother recording the last half because I'm just going to.
Yeah. If you're going to have to pull the whole thing anyway, you might as well just.
Yep. Look at that. Size 0 kilobytes. Oh, fuck.
That's funny.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
We were talking about teachers and education.
Yes.
And
so in the middle of the
3
night
in the morning,
we decided.
What did you call it?
A war
room chat or something.
Strategy session or something.
Yeah.
We decided. First of all, not knowing, so I guess we should rewind. What our district is actually doing is they will be sending district employees, from the administration building, out into the schools to help cover. There's hundreds of open shifts on the substitute teacher hotline.
So out of the so far 1,000 plus, there's about 700 openings.
Yeah.
That they haven't filled yet. They are going to be pulling Polk County law enforcement. There will be officers in classrooms babysitting. This is what our tax dollars are going to pay for. It's crazy. So the police are going to be babysitting, which actually made me feel a little better because my thought was if somebody's going to do something stupid, they're going to do it on a day when they know all the schools are vulnerable because all the teachers and staff and people that know how to react in a crisis are not going to be there, and all the kids are going to be huddled into an auditorium somewhere.
Right.
So it made me feel a little bit better that they're sending out reinforcements in the way of police officers to be on these campuses.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still going to be chaos. There's going to be bus delays out the wazoo if the kids ever even make it to the school, because the bus routes are going to be all out of whack because they're pulling buses to bus people up to Tallahassee.
I thought that was all chartered. I thought that wasn't.
It is, but it's chartered through.
Oh.
They're chartering Polk County.
Oh.
Is it?
I don't think so.
Maybe not. Well, maybe it's because bus drivers are going.
Yeah.
That could be what it is.
Right.
Yeah. In any case, so you're going to have kids with special needs getting onto buses with drivers that don't know what their needs are. You're going to have kids with special needs in classrooms with substitutes that don't know what their needs are. There is a student in one of our kids' classes whose mom was terrified that their teachers weren't going to be there on Monday because this kid has a severe food allergy and
right, a stranger in the
everything
classroom
has to be wiped down. She can't come into she can't even come into contact with somebody who's eating this food. It's bad.
Yep.
And so she's like, I don't know what to do, and I'm like, just keep her home. But
right.
But the school district has decided that no, it's going to just be a normal school day. It's not going to be normal. Anyway.
District officials clarified to News Channel 8 that bus drivers may be utilized as added support on campus. For example, they may supervise lunch duty or assist with dismissal, but they will not be supervising classrooms. I have to say that's a distinction without a difference. School board officials say more than 600 substitute teachers will take over, and the remaining vacant spots will be filled by certified and trained school professionals or district personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Spoke with the Polk Education Association, who says teachers have been telling the district they were going to call out for months and are upset the school board didn't begin preparations. Shame on you, Channel 8, for this until this past Monday after winter break. School board already sent out emails and phone calls to parents. We got those saying that they're working on filling the slots and still plan on sending your kids to school. No changes.
I know just in our bubble this morning on our campus, and our campus is a K-8 school, pre-K to 8. So what is that? 10 grade levels? And it's a middle school, so you have all the middle school teachers. It's just a huge campus. It's a huge school. It's a lot of kids. This morning, we had an estimation of 20 teachers were going to call out that we knew of. By this afternoon, it was into the hundreds. By Monday, who knows? These teachers are going to go home this weekend and they're going to be seeing everything that's happening on social media. They're going to talk to their families. They're probably going to have 3 a.m. war room meetings. And who knows what those kids are going to actually walk into on Monday morning. And I'm here in solidarity for any teacher who doesn't go to that school. I'm also supportive of the teachers who do decide to go to school.
Right.
Like, there's been a lot of backlash on that end too. And that, I mean, I understand the mentality that the teachers that go to school and don't acknowledge that this is an issue are part of the problem, but I don't necessarily think they are. I think, you know, a lot of schools are saying wear red, you know, do all the things, and you have to do that too. Not everybody is. You have these teachers who have these kids that have needs, and they are aware of these kids, and they don't want to leave their kids. And I think that that's a harder decision than most people are giving these teachers credit for. That they're just saying, well, they're just not involved enough. But I don't think that's it. I think that they're more involved than you would like to admit.
Well, and so talk about so we had the conversation of
pre-K, Victoria. It is 9. Sorry, we had the conversation.
In the middle of the night, we talked about wouldn't it be great for our 9-year-old to be there for that?
Yeah,
to see it.
Yeah,
and because we've taken him to the Science March and March for Our Lives, and he goes to Pride every year, and he's a good little SJW. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you have to pronounce SJW because whenever anybody says SJW, I hear XJW.
I don't want to be that.
Sorry, I know. Just say
so. But just knowing his heart and how he processes things, he really that would be so impactful for him to see it and be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to Tallahassee on Monday.
So I got to tell you his reaction to that.
Okay.
Because I went to the classroom this afternoon to tell his teacher that he wouldn't be there on Monday. And when I told her he's not going to be here on Monday, she kind of went, yeah, I know. A lot of my parents have said they're
right, because a lot of parents are just
going to keep
home.
their kids home. And I said, oh no, we're not keeping him home. We're taking him to Tallahassee with us to the rally. And she, like, legit tears in her eyes, goosebumps on her arms, and just, oh my gosh, that means so much to me. That's what's going to make the difference, is parents going and families going and kids going, and you know, and she knows how he is, and she's like, make sure you document it and take plenty of pictures and send me pictures. And I'm like, yeah, I will.
Yep.
So then I turned around and I told him this is what we're doing. And then his little buddy was like, wait, what? You're doing what? And so I kind of gave a short brief, like, it's an education rally,
right,
to go show support for the teachers and, public education. And he goes, well, and mind you, this is a kid we've known since he was a baby. Like, they've grown up together. He goes, that's not fair. You need to take the whole class.
Buddy, if we could.
Oh, man, I would,
Buddy,
in a heartbeat.
If we could.
You know?
Yep.
And so that was a nice little moment. But then we were leaving and we were walking out. And so I was talking to him one-on-one, like, really explained to him, because he was asking, like, where are we going? When are we leaving? What are we doing? And so I said to him, you know how we were talking about how they're trying to, like, take money away from teachers and take money away from public schools and give it to corporately owned schools and stuff like that, and it's taking money out of classrooms and stuff like that. So it's like trying to get him on that level, like, and he's like, yeah, I remember that conversation. I said, well, this is going to be a rally of people that are against that, but they're showing support for teachers to get paid right and paid better, and for schools to get more money so that kids get a better education. And he's like, cool. And then he says, people that don't think that teachers should be paid enough, they need to just go away. He was still in school, so I think if it had been off property, he probably would have used some colorful language, because he like
caught himself
and paused for a minute. Go away. And so he was excited. And I said, we'll talk about it some more, because then we ran into somebody else. But he is a little mini activist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it.
And I do too. I in a lot of ways, because that's just another one of those things that I missed growing up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe I feel some kind of way about that too, because on one hand, I appreciate the simplicity of my childhood, that I'm still from the we played outside generation, right?
Yeah.
Like there were 6 kids in the block, and we all played wiffle ball in the empty lot out back. Like,
there is a positive side to that.
There is, but also I was kept from all of the things that were going on in the world at the time.
You were protected. You were in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I was in a bubble too.
Yeah.
In a different kind of bubble, but
right. And so on one hand, like, he's 9. I want him to have a fun childhood.
Yeah.
Like, you should be playing and not worrying about shit and not stressing about life, but also in order for you to be a good adult.
Yeah.
When you get there, like, there's a foundation that needs to be laid too.
And I think it's hard for people of our generation to get to that, because it is it goes back to the nostalgia thing with us, like, and just our generation in general. We want that for our kids. We want what we had for our kids.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and you look around, we don't live in that world, and it's hard. It's hard to accept that, but you have to, because if you don't, and you just put your kid in a bubble, it's going to be that much worse when the bubble bursts. Because I know when the bubble burst for me, it was like hard reality. Like, holy shit, there's a real world out there. And I look at Greta Thunberg, and I think, I still hear her like screaming, "You took our childhood.
How dare you?
You took our childhood."
Yes.
And I hurt for these kids.
Yep.
But they need to know. And
yeah, is it a necessity?
Yeah.
Is it a necessity? And if not with this generation, certainly with others coming.
Yeah.
Let me scan this article. Nope, I closed it. So that's it. Anyway, it's gonna be a huge deal. I'm taking the night off, Sunday night into Monday, but I will have to work Monday night into Tuesday. So that'll be interesting, because we're gonna be 4-hour drive to Tallahassee, and then be there all day and doing that, and then 4-hour drive back, and then I have to go to work.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to have to drive there, and then I'll drive home.
Yeah, for sure.
That way I'm not overdoing it driving. And
yep.
Yeah.
So you have well, I guess by the time this posts, I'll probably get up in the morning and
you will,
and take care of it. If you have any great ideas for signs, send them over to us, producer at SarahTalk.com, or hit us up on social media. Something that because I'd like it to be something of like, bottle this. Stop taking my tax money and giving it to churches. You know what I mean? Like, stop giving my money to private Christian schools and give it back to the teachers. Something like that. And so that's come down to things like, this atheist supports public education. This atheist supports public teachers, public school teachers. Thank you, teachers.
Yeah.
From your friendly neighborhood atheist, stuff like that. I don't know, but you tell me what you think, because I don't know.
I was talking to our son about that. He said we're going to go actually tomorrow. It's on my list. To stop by Dollar Tree and get some foam core for poster board. And he said, I said, I need you to start thinking about what you want on your sign.
Yep.
So he's like, okay, yeah. He says, I want something that says, he said something really funny, and I was like, I don't think that'll be appropriate. It was like, if you don't pay teachers more, you're a loser or something like that. I was like, oh, I love you.
Right.
I was like, let's not name
You're
call.
right.
You're absolutely right, but let's keep it positive. So
teachers are important, all misspelled, Victoria. Yes. Oh God, that's brilliant.
Russell says, so can we legalize medical and recreational marijuana on a federal level and set up a federal taxing through it that goes straight to school funding?
Right.
That would be phenomenal.
Right. And in a sort of microscopic view of that, that's what Colorado did statewide.
You know how to get that done? You vote for Willie.
And on that note, I'm kidding.
I was going to say Snoop Dogg, but at the very last minute, I went, remembered that. Oh my God.
So before we go though, seriously, we're going to wrap the show and get to bed and we got stuff to do. But I do want to say a thank you to our...
You just say we're going to get to bed because we have stuff to do.
In the morning.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow. We have stuff to do tomorrow. You have to listen to me when I mumble, because when I drink, I run all my words together. I do want to thank our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/SarahTalk. I don't do that often enough. I really should.
No.
Thanks for the rum. David, Greg, Bailey, Darling Fitch, Kimberly, Megan, Stacy, Harry, I never saw that podcast, Lamont, and our top patrons.
Oh, man.
You two got me a brick Bible for Christmas, and it's fucking amazing.
You're welcome.
Oh, we love you, buddy. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
What?
That's John. I don't know.
What in the world?
He's probably fighting with secular soup again. And part-time patron Russell, who's been very, very well lately. Very good, Russell.
Thank you, Russell.
Yeah. Kept the card up today. Got some money in that account. All right.
Man.
So that's it. Next week's show will probably be a lot of us just talking about what happened at the Teacher March rally. Maybe I'll take the recorder and have some stuff for you. I don't know. But we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. You've been listening to Sarah Talk.
Sarah Talk is made possible by listener support. Visit patreon.com/SarahTalk to become a patron and help keep this program going. Contact Sarah and Company by email at producer@sarahtalk.com or call 224-40-SARAH. That's 224-407-2724. And follow us on social media, facebook.com/SarahTalkRadio and on Twitter @SarahTalkRadio. The opinions and information provided on this show are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of the hosts and their guests. We make no representations as to accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or validity of any information and will not be liable for any errors or damages. Sarah Talk is a production of Sarah Austin Media.